I'm 96 years old. I was married to my husband for 64 years before he passed. And I need to tell you something that nobody wants to hear. You probably married the wrong person. And that's okay. Let me explain before you close this, because what I'm about to tell you is the only reason we made it 64 years. And it's the opposite of everything you've been told about love and marriage and finding your soulmate. When I was 24, I married Robert. He was handsome, kind, had a good job at the factory, made me laugh. All my friends said I was lucky. My mother cried happy tears at the wedding. I thought I'd found the one, the person I was meant to be with. By year 3, I wasn't sure anymore. He left dishes in the sink. He was quiet when I wanted to talk. He wanted to talk when I wanted quiet. He spent money differently than I did. He disciplined our daughter in ways I didn't agree with. We fought about his mother. We fought about my friends. We fought about things so small I can't even remember them now, but they felt enormous then. I thought, I made a mistake. This isn't what marriage is supposed to feel like. I must have married the wrong person. I was 27, I had a 2-year-old daughter, and I was having coffee with my neighbor Margaret, who'd been married 30 years. I told her I wasn't happy, that maybe Robert and I weren't right for each other. I waited for her to comfort me, to tell me I deserved better. Instead, she laughed, not cruelly, but really laughed. Then she said something I've never forgotten. Honey, we all married the wrong person. The trick is deciding to make them the right person anyway. I didn't understand what she meant. Not then. Here's what I understand now, 7 decades later. The person you marry is not the person you stay married to. They can't be, because people change. You change. Life changes you both in ways you can't predict on your wedding day. The man I married at 24 is not the man I buried at 88. Robert at 30 was ambitious and energetic and impatient. Robert at 50 was tired and worried about money and distant. Robert at 70 was soft and silly and held my hand at movies. Robert at 85 needed me to cut his food and remind him to take his pills. Which one did I marry? All of them. None of them. And I changed too. I was shy at 24, opinionated at 40, depressed at 52 when my mother died, confident at 60, terrified at 73 when I had my first cancer scare, patient at 80 in ways I never was before. If the Robert I married at 24 had met the me at 52, he wouldn't have recognized me. We might not have liked each other. But we didn't get that choice. We grew together, even when we grew in different directions, especially then. Here's the thing nobody tells you about marriage. It's not about finding someone who completes you. That's a myth that ruins more marriages than it saves. It's about finding someone you're willing to keep choosing, even when they're not easy to choose. There were years I didn't like Robert very much. I'm being honest. There were months where I counted down the days until he'd leave for his fishing trips, just so I could have space. There were arguments where I slept on the couch and thought about what my life would be like alone. But I never stopped choosing him. Not because I'm a saint, not because it was easy, but because I decided that's what I was going to do. I decided our marriage was worth more than my temporary unhappiness. And here's what happened. The things that annoyed me at 30 became endearing at 60. His quietness, which I thought meant he didn't care, I learned was just how he processed things. He wasn't ignoring me. He was thinking. Once I understood that, everything shifted. The way he spent money, which drove me crazy for years, I realized came from growing up poor. He wasn't being careless. He was trying to prove to himself he'd made it. When I saw that, I stopped fighting him and started understanding him. Marriage isn't 50-50. That's another lie. Some years it's 80-20. Some years it's 10-90. There was a year after my surgery where Robert did everything: cooking, cleaning, helping me to the bathroom. I couldn't give him anything except my presence, and he didn't complain once. And there were years where I carried us. When he lost his job at 54 and fell into a dark place. When his brother died and he couldn't get out of bed. I held us together because that's what you do. You don't keep score. The moment you start keeping score, you've already lost. I look at young couples now, and they expect so much. They expect their partner to be their best friend, their therapist, their adventure buddy, their co-parent, their financial equal, their intellectual match, their perfect sexual partner, all the time, forever. Nobody can be all those things. Nobody. Robert wasn't my best friend. My best friend was Linda. Robert wasn't my intellectual match. I read books he'd never touch, and he understood engines in ways I never could. We didn't want the same things from life half the time, but he was my partner. And that was enough. More than enough. I'm 96 now. Robert's been gone 8 years, and I miss him every single day. Not because he was perfect, but because he was mine, and I was his. We built a life together, raised a daughter, survived job losses and health scares and the death of people we loved. We laughed until we cried, and cried until we laughed. Did I marry the right person? I don't think that question matters. I married a person, and then we both decided over and over again to make it right. If you're in a marriage right now, and you're wondering if you made a mistake, here's what I want you to know. You probably did. We all did. Marriage is a mistake you make on purpose, and then you work like hell to make it the best mistake of your life. The question isn't, did I marry the right person? The question is, am I willing to keep choosing this person, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard? Because love isn't a feeling. It's a choice. And you make that choice every single day. I chose Robert for 64 years.